Hey guys, Kiwi here. Warning is spoilers for Breaking Bad, El Camino, and Better Call Saul up to Season 6, Episode 4. In this video, I'll be breaking down and discussing the first scene in Better Call Saul 604, along with the second to last scene that involves Gus and Mike. Like the video if you end up enjoying it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad updates, and if you really enjoy what I do here, maybe even consider checking out my Patreon, and thanks to those who have. With that being said, let's jump into the breakdown. So the episode starts out with cheerful music as we see a couple biking around their neighborhood. This is quite the tone switch from the previous episode in regards to Nacho, making this intro for 604 feel almost uncanny. As we see the couple bike through their neighborhood, they seem very involved with their community, making comments on a home in the process of being painted bright red, saying that the homeowners association won't like it. Fun fact, the red paint on that house is actually CGI, so we can include that onto the list of random things we never would have thought that would be CGI, such as Kim's bottle stopper from 601. The song choices for this episode are great, and I think I'll have to add this 604 intro song to my Better Call Saul playlist as it's just so catchy, and it's been stuck in my head all week. Sadly, I can't play it due to copyright, but if you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. The song is called Best Things in Life by the Dreamliners, if anyone was curious. Anyways, as the bikers go up the street to their home, we see that they're being watched with cameras. The couple casually puts their bikes away in their garage, and they go into their house for the big reveal. As they go into their kitchen, it's revealed that there's mercenaries hanging out in their home. The fact that the couple don't even react to them rules out the possibility that the mercenaries are home intruders and that they're instead supposed to be there. It's funny how casually the couple walks around these guns for hire, not even fazed by them as they just casually stretch and grab some fresh iced tea. The woman asks her significant other if he wants any iced tea and he says no, but then as she walks into the living room, one of the strange men asks for some iced tea himself. This man appears to be watching a handful of security cameras surveying the entire neighborhood, and if you've seen Breaking Bad, you'll know the main house that they're watching is actually Gus's house. We've seen these security cameras from the Season 6 trailers since before Season 6 even started airing, so we've been wondering about it for a while. Either someone's watching Gus, or Gus has hired men as security to keep a lookout on his house for him. So we always figured it was the latter, which turns out to be true, so it wasn't as much of a shock or a surprise to see this as other viewers may have experienced who have never seen the trailers. Near the end of the episode, we see Gus arrive home in his Los Pollos work outfit, and he enters his home and closes the door, giving out a heavy sigh as he can finally stop wearing the fake innocent masked persona and truly be himself. As Gus changes out of his Los Pollos work clothes and into his criminal work clothes, we see that he has a small bulletproof vest under his shirt along with a teeny gun strapped to his ankle, and he walks down the stairs, opens a secret tunnel from behind a bookshelf, which is just classic cliche screams Scooby-Doo, to a mysterious tunnel that we saw from the trailer. We've been wondering what the deal is with this tunnel for weeks now, and it's finally been revealed. Gus has a secret passage that leads underground from his house to the house right beside him. And I actually missed this next detail during my first watch through, but as Gus is walking down the tunnel, there's a Gus body double that walks right past him to take over the role of somebody being in his actual house. Gus is using his neighbor's house as a safe house while keeping the facade that he's still living in his real home. He enters his real home to make it perceive that if anyone's watching him that he still lives there, and then he has a body double live there to also keep up the facade from a distance that the house is still being occupied. So in regards to the couple that we saw biking at the beginning of the episode, people have been wondering what the significance of them is. I don't think we've ever seen them before, but they play a vital role in Gus's safe house. There's two possibilities to how this came to fruition. The first is that they were already living there prior to Gus moving into the neighborhood, and Gus somehow bribed or convinced or forced them to let him use their house. The other possibility is that Gus moved these people in himself with their purpose only to be to occupy this safe house so it seems less suspicious. Having an actual couple living here is great cover instead of having the house be suspiciously vacant. Fun fact, the actors that play this biking couple are apparently a couple in real life as well. Now I assume that Gus spends all of his spare time in this safe house, even sleeping there. I'm not sure how comfortable the couple would be with all of this if they weren't already involved with Gus somehow, unless they're just cutting their losses and living as much of a normal life as they can. Although that still might be the case, it's possible that this family could be working with the corrupt side of Gus's operations, possibly being employees of Magical or at least having some sort of connection there. So what do you think? Is this couple being forced into obedience by Gus, or were they already previously involved in his true operation? Maybe both? Anyways, as Gus enters the safe house, he meets with Mike at the security cameras. Not only is Gus keeping a close watch on his neighborhood and house, he also has Mike sending his men to every corner of town to watch certain people and locations where Lalo may pop up. For example, this is why and Mike's men were following Jimmy and
We're stretched thin. I've got guys working 18-hour days all over town. 2 weeks. We haven't had a tickle.
And?
Kim. Mike tells Gus that his men are stretched thin, and that if Lalo was going to show up, he probably would have by now. It's interesting how there's 2 times in this episode where a character is being paranoid, and another character is telling them that they have nothing to worry about. First with Jimmy and Kim, and now with Mike and Gus. And as we know, in both instances, the paranoid person turns out to be correct. Jimmy tells Kim that no one's following her, but as we know, there was someone following her, Mike's men. And the same thing with Gus. Mike is telling Gus to not be paranoid about Lalo, but as the audience, we know that Lalo is very much alive.
Listen to the voice of experience, okay? You know why you're feeling like this? Because we got away with it. It seems too good to be true, but trust me, nobody is following you.
All due respect, the rest of the world thinks the guy is dead.
Lalo Salamanca is alive.
And where is he?
We also get confirmation that it's been 2 weeks since the assassination attempt on Lalo from the season 5 finale, so there's been at least a week time skip between episodes 603 and 604. Gus is paranoid about Lalo, and rightfully so, since as I said, we the audience know that Lalo is still alive, and he's planning his next attack by searching for proof that Gus was the one who called the hit on him in the season 5 finale. Mike even put one of his men in Los Pollos for while Gus is working, and Gus complains saying that he's not up to Pollo standards.
The man you placed in my kitchen.
Roy?
You told me that he had experience as a short order cook.
2 years at McDonald's in college.
This episode was very heavy with the comedic moments, which is usually only on the Jimmy and Kim side of the show, but they still managed to fit a comedic moment into the scene with Gus and Mike, who are normally very serious. I think it's great how lighthearted this episode is, which, as I said at the beginning of this video, is such a contrast from last week's episode with Nacho.
He's not there just to make French fries. I need guys in close.
He's not up to Pollo standards.
I'll find a replacement.
So, although we're now just seeing Gus in his safe house for the first time on screen, I believe that he's had this set up long before he was ever paranoid about Lalo. He probably doesn't use it often unless he's in the type of situation that he's currently in right now, but I like to think that it's always been there. Creating that secret tunnel and setting up all the cameras would have been a long process, similar to all the time they spent in season 4 creating the Super Lab location. Some people were confused by the whole situation, primarily the intro teaser, thinking it was a Breaking Bad flash forward. Although this isn't the case, this entire situation does have a huge connection to Breaking Bad. I've said this before during trailer breakdowns, but Gus must keep his security system in place all the way through Breaking Bad. The security system is how Gus knew that Walt was at his house in the middle of the night to try and kill him in the episode 38 snub. If you remember, Walt only got halfway across the street before he got a call from either Tyrus or Mike telling him to go home. Walt did a 360 but couldn't see anybody watching him. Now we know how Gus and his men saw Walt coming. Now, during the Insider podcast for 604, Vince himself admitted that while doing the episode 38 snub for Breaking Bad, they never actually had an explanation for how Gus knew Walt was at his house, and that Gus just must have had eyes in the back of his head. So this is a clever retcon in a way that explains the Breaking Bad situation. Another thing is that when Gus is in his actual home, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we see any sort of evidence that implies that Gus has a family or children. It's been a huge mystery throughout the Breaking Bad universe on whether Gus actually has a family or if he just bought some kid toys in order to try and convince Walt that he did during that night in Breaking Bad when he invited Walt over to his house to have dinner.
This is a Chilean dish that I love, but I never get to make it. Kids won't eat it.
Let me know what you think about Gus's house and his secret safe house in the comments below, along with anything I might have missed. Also, check out my last video, my 603 review, in case you missed it, and I'll be doing my 604 review either later today or tomorrow. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, and if you're new to the channel or just haven't yet already, subscribe and hit that bell notification to stay updated on when I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Check out my Patreon to help support the channel financially, as it is a dream to be able to do this full time. If you got a spare few bucks lying around, it'd mean a lot, and thanks to those who have already. But most importantly, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
He's not up to Pollo standards.